on this week's episode of SSR's Garage. I'm going to teach you how to clean your toolbox. No, I'm not. No, my toolbox is a mess. So's that one. Don't look. Everything's a mess. It's a garage. I'm just going to jump right into it, get you started. Not too much to say. You need to catch up. Catch up. How's it going, guys? I'm going ahead and skip forward a little bit here. I jumped forward on the motor so you guys wouldn't have to watch me torquing things down. Got the heads installed. I threw the exhaust manifolds on for S's and G's. Yeah, take a look. So I threw the exhaust manifolds on just for funsies. They're not bolted on all the way. There's no gaskets. I clearly can't have them on before I put it in the car. Right now I'm putting on the old rocker studs. I had my heads outfitted with the threads, had them threaded to accept the rocker studs. Instead of the Pontiac heads are factory press-in studs. And if you can see, they're hollow. They're what they call a bottleneck. So you can't actually adjust farther down. Not that you necessarily need to, but you never know. But hollow, probably not great. As you can see, the new studs, they're not bottlenecked, and you can get the rocker arm to go down farther if you need to. So it gives you full adjustability and the strongest ARP bolt that money can buy. They're not going to break and they're not going to pull out. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys can see, but I used a nice Danish Orchards container to keep all my lifters in. Had them nice and soaking for a good long time. All right, guys, we have to torque these down. You can see from the ARP installation sheet that there's 45 foot-pounds for aluminum heads. I'm not so privileged. I can't afford aluminum heads. So I got to do the cast iron cylinder heads, 55 foot-pounds. Let's do that. So I got the head studs all torqued down. I'm sorry, the rocker studs all torqued down. Head studs are torqued down too, but misspoke. Next thing I got to do is put on, well, what I'm going to do and what I should do, maybe two different things, right? I should be removing one of these springs and putting on my check springs. What I'm going to do is put on a rocker arm and pull out one of my old push rods, and I'm just horribly curious to see how close the old push rods are. Now I do have 165 rocker arms. 152 are stock, so I do have a longer ratio rocker arm, so that should affect it. But I am horribly curious, and unless you do it, you'll never know, so I'm just gonna do it. What are you gonna do? Sue me, it's my motor. All right, guys, so this is my Comp Cam's 165 rocker arm. You know what? Let me get a 152 and I'll show you. Let's look at the difference together. This is a stock push rod, bone stock. So I'm just gonna slide her on in there. Pretty curious. Set that down like that. 2 seconds. All right, guys, here's a 152 rocker arm, and here's my 165. To look at it, they don't look too much different. Man, they look horribly close. But you can see the 165, where the push rod actually connects with the rocker arm, is a little closer to the stud. Oh man, they are so close. So to the naked eye, you can't really see. You can see the hole for the oiling is down a little farther for the 165. So I have a feeling that they probably use the same casting for both rocker arms, but they just put the 165 push rod, I don't know what you call it, the seat for the push rod. Looks like they put it a little closer to the stud to get a little more ratio out of it. Otherwise, they are the same. Comp cams, 152, 165, you just can't see the difference much. Also, if anybody needs a set of 152 push rocker arms, 7/16 stud, I got a set. So let me say, these are the comp cam checking springs. You can see that the springs that are in this are much more substantial. Obviously, they're meant for the heavy cam that's in there, not for the push rod checking tool that I have. So these are meant to go in place of these springs. So if this doesn't work out nicely, which I'm betting it won't be perfect, and it really needs to be perfect, I'll end up taking these springs off, putting these checking springs on, and then we'll go through the motions. Now these rocker arms I bought from Summit, these 165s. They come with your, I don't know what you call it, the thing that it pivots on. We'll call it a pivot net because I don't know. And then it also comes with these are rocker arm nuts, and these are also rocker arm nuts. I don't know why mine came with 7/16 and 3/8 nuts. Doesn't matter, because I bought poly locks. These are positively locking for the rocker arm. So I'll show you in a minute here. Let's get this open. So I went ahead and painted the top of my valve spring blue with just a marker. So hopefully that'll do the trick. I do have a problem though. As I set this thing down and tighten it, I noticed that my rocker arm is shifted a little bit clockwise, so it doesn't want to sit down exactly right on the valve stem. Where'd my ratchet go? Where'd that thing go? Really? It's probably right in front of my face. Aha! At least it was covered up with a piece of paper. So as I look at it, it is clocked kind of funny, and to me that means that this push rod guide needs to go that way just a touch. I'm gonna go ahead and move this down here, and if it's also cockeyed clockwise, then I'll definitely know that I need to move it to the left a little bit. But if it's the other way or something different, we might have a different problem on our hands. Okay, well that kind of stinks because it looks perfect. It looks absolutely perfect. I wonder if this guide can be just a little hang-a-danga, a little banged up or something. I don't know. On a Pontiac, so it had press-in studs before, so there's a bolt that goes right here that would have held it. Because these are screw-in studs, they actually hold the guide. It's the way it's supposed to be. I don't need this bolt. But now I'm a little worried that Let me check this one. Maybe these things are hiding numbers that I can't see. Well, it doesn't look horrible. This one looks perfect. This one's, yeah. But this one's not so bueno. You can see just from tightening it down on there, that line is right in the middle. That's fine. That doesn't mean nothing. And you'll see what I mean here in a minute. You know what? I got this one all marked up. Let's go ahead and use it. Let's see what it looks like. It's funny, that's not horrible. I expected far worse than that. I mean, that's downright right about in the freaking middle. That is not what I expected. I would like to do that again, sir. Let's see what it looks like. Come on. Well, I'll be dipped. I mean, it can't be that easy, right? Everything on this motor has been a pain in my ass, if I'm being quite frank. It's been a pain in the ass. And that's just, I'm having a hard time believing my eyes. I mean, you guys got to come down here and look at this. You got to come, get a closer look. I don't know if you can see this, but I'll be dipped. That thing is right in the dang middle. And oh geez, sorry, can't see my own finger. This one is pretty dang close. What do you think? Should we check one of these guys? Let's check one of these. I don't even know what to say. Check again. That's what I'll say. Okay, that definitely erased all the marks that were there previously. I don't think I explained these very well. Unlike the nuts that I showed you that came with it, these are a poly lock. So they screw on to the stud just like a regular nut would, right? But they have this that goes down inside and presses right on top of those studs so that it locks it into place. You have two forces pushing against each other, so these cannot loosen. Once they're adjusted, the only way they can come loose is if I physically loosen them. They can't just whoops-a-daisy themselves loose. All right, here we go, fingers crossed. See what it looks like. It still looks like the rocker arms clocked a little bit clockwise. Okay, that looks a little different. Let me show you. It's not very well seen on here, but you can see it's just a little bit this side of center. Let's do this one. Well, let's see, can you see that? you could see that its travel is pretty close to the dang middle. This one's problem might be because it's cockeyed. I might have to just give this a little over to the left. Little what for? Little how's your father? Because that is dead center. Now I need to do a little research, make sure that I'm doing this right. My lifters were all soaked. If anybody's worried about oil in the motor, as you can see, I've put 5 quarts of oil in it. I have my filter on here. It's all good to go. And I have rotated it a bunch to get oil everywhere in this thing. And if anybody was curious, every rotation, there's a big thing of oil that I knew would drip out and leach out kind of, you know, in this area. But let me tell you, she's got some force. She comes flying out. Whew. She comes flying out. And that's just with me doing it with my drill at a low RPM. So she's had plenty of oil. Not that I'm under any delusion that the lifters are pumped up or anything like that. They've only been soaking. They haven't actually been ran to pump up. So soaking in oil, pumped up, 2 different things. Completely 2 different things. How's it going, guys? Just want to give you a little update here. I've been working on my motor. It's Saturday, July 4th. Happy Independence Day. It's hotter than heck here in Spokane. But let me give you a little update here. I got my valley pan on. Believe it or not, that was a little harder than it looks. Trying to get the bolts to line up perfectly, not be too long. If anybody that's built a Pontiac knows that if your bolts are too long, they'll go straight into your cam bearings. Nobody wants that, at least I don't. I got my front timing cover on. Not that bad, actually. The hardest part of this was getting the bolts, don't mind the RTV, getting those bolts from the oil pan to the front timing cover. Whew, what a pain in the butt. I also got my harmonic balancer on. I really like this harmonic balancer. It you can see right now about 10 degrees, give or take, 10 degrees BTDC before top dead center, and it has marks at 90 and 180. I mean, just invaluable. I need to read my distributor when I go to put it in, but I believe that I have to install my distributor with it 10 degrees before top dead center like it is. But technically, if it was a regular distributor and I pointed it at number 1, and is this thing zoomed in? Oh, there we go. If it was a regular distributor and I pointed it at number 1, it'd be 180 out. You actually have to have this rotated to 180 before you put the distributor in, pointing it at the number 1 spark plug wire. Because right now it's on the, it just exhausted and it's fixing the intake. So the intake valve is getting ready to close currently right now. So yeah, that's a little bit of the update. Still working on it. I'm getting ready to put on my water pump. I got myself a nice Miser electric water pump. So this is going to allow me to run my water pump regardless of the car running. And I really wanted to do that because I don't know about you guys. But when I was younger and driving this thing around, I was constantly worried about it overheating. I don't want to have to worry about it overheating anymore. So I got the Miser water pump hoping that I could avoid that situation. Fingers crossed. So I got a Butler Performance alternator relocation bracket. So my alternator actually be over here, not up here. So normally the water pump would be up here on the alternator would be on the right side, or the driver's side, left side, right side of me right now. Whatever. Normally the alternator would be on the left side of the car up top. The alternator will now be on the right side of the car down low, and my power steering pump, because although I don't have power steering right now, I'm hopeful to get that all put in, but my power steering pump will be down here, and I have a 2V belt pulley. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that they ride on different belts, because I have the belt for my alternator to be over yonder. I figured out that putting the alternator on the passenger side is a little harder than I thought it was going to be. Let me show you. So this is my old alternator, you know, sitting around 20 years. I have no no hopes and dreams of that thing actually working, but it's going to work for mock-up just fine. That pulley system is what I had to go to make the belt work, because this is the pulley that I had on there, and you can see that it's a significant size difference. That's not the problem. The problem is if you can see here, which one sticks out more. You see that? This one was in so far that I couldn't get the belt to line up. So now the belt lines up, you know, with these spacers and these spacers, you know, the belt lines up. So I got to repaint this guy and get that all cleaned up and painted. That came off of a different motor. That's the benefit of having motors just all over the place. This guy is power steering pump, not for my car, but it is for my car now. And I gotta go ahead and I'm getting this placed, and I gotta get this one lined up, because right now it doesn't line up. I don't know if you can see that, but it lines up better with the groove in the middle than it does with the belt. So I gotta work on that. But more importantly, I gotta get that painted. So let's try one of these camera tricks where all of a sudden everything's painted. No? That didn't work. Let's try it again. Let's go let's just go. Let's try this one. There we go, guys. Kinda painted, not really, but I did get these Moroso valve covers finally painted. They look okay. I'm gonna be just fine with them, honestly. I got my spark plug wires on there. These are TSPs, Total Street Performance or Top Street Performance. I don't know how I feel about them. I still got to cut them to length. You know, I got the holders over here, but honestly, they don't hold them very well. I really want Taylor wires, but when I went to the general store to buy the Taylor wires I wanted so bad, they were out of stock. So yeah, I don't know. I really want to start this bad boy up. So yeah, I got my power steering bracket painted, but the pump, she is sorry. Alternator, I actually had that thing tested and it works, so I'm gonna take that thing apart and see if I can't clean it up. But for now, that is, I mean, the valve covers aren't bolted down yet. I'm probably gonna drop the motor in without them on. Same thing with the distributor, you know. You can see I painted these because they were blue on the inside, and before I get a bunch of guff about how you like the blue so bad, it just wasn't an option to leave it blue. One was really damaged, and so I sanded off the Moroso, I painted it all black, and then I dropped some clear coat on there, and the clear coat still feels a little soft, so I'm not gonna mess with it too much. Got my starter in, you guys see it hiding down there? Got my starter in, it's good to go. So the next time, oh, look at this, radiator hose, look at that. Just got it mocked up. Next time you guys see this motor, it'll be on its way into my car. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this week's episode of SSR's Garage. I don't have too much to add. You're already probably at about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I don't know. But next week, the next video you see will be me putting this motor in. I'm pretty excited, actually, because it hasn't been in the car. This motor hasn't been in the car 10 plus years. 10 years? Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, 10 years plus. Yes. 12 years? At least. Maybe longer. Anyway, it hadn't been in the car for a long time, and it hasn't ran since before my daughter was born, and she's 19. So it's been a while. Got my carburetor in a box. I'm probably gonna go manual fuel pump just to get her running. A lot of little things, but I really want to be to the cruise in Coeur d'Alene on the 17th. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. I really want to be to that cruise on the 17th. I know that Coeur d'Alene is canceled. I'm going in protest. Is that in the way of the camera? I'm going in protest because I'm going to go anyway. They canceled it because of all the things going on, and I want to go anyway. So I'm going to try my dangest to get this thing running. I got brakes to do, fuel line to do, wiring. I still have the keys for the ignition. I got to put the seats back in. That's just so I can drive it. Just so I can drive it. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. And if I could leave you on this piece, merging is a privilege, not a right. So, you know, zipper merge. Some people get angry that people merge over early. Really, you should wait until you're forced to move over, just so the flow of traffic stays the same. That is an opinion, but I think it's also the way it's supposed to be. So, yeah. Zipper merge. Use it.